Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the Zindagi podcast. My guest today is Aiza Hussain, better known as the Saari girl.
Oh my god.
Thank you for being here.
No, thank you so much for having me.
I can't tell you, the Saari is such a personal thing for me, and it's something that is so important. I wear a sari in every episode of this podcast.
I've seen, and you look beautiful.
And there's a reason behind that, very personal reasons behind that. And I always knew it's something I wanted to discuss, but it was who can I have opposite, as the guest, who can kind of help fuel that conversation? And you were the first name that came to my mind.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you've done for the revival of the Saari, and we'll get into that. But Aiza, tell me first about yourself.
Okay.
How would you introduce yourself?
Okay.
How would you tell us about yourself? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Aiza. And if you want me to introduce myself academically, so I'm a socio-cultural anthropologist, and I'm interested in studies of urban marginality, studying socio-spatial politics, and I've mostly done research on disenfranchised groups, be they squatter settlers, be they people in the Lahore prison, fruit vendors. So that's me academically, and I just completed my master's last year. Professionally, I'm a researcher, so anthropology is what I pursue, and then there's this side gig which has turned into more like a main gig. So I have two main gigs going on side by side.
That's crazy.
And personally, I'm a food enthusiast.
Love it.
I love travel. I just enjoy meeting new people, interacting with new spaces, cultures, histories.
And I think that's the anthropologist in you talking.
Anthropologist in me. I don't know. It's all blended in within each other. Yeah. So that's.
I actually always knew that about you because you were the anthropology part, because you were my TA at university, and we never actually interacted. Yeah. But I'm also have my undergrad in anthropology. So because I always approach things from that perspective, I knew that you'd be a great person to talk to, because I knew you would too. So it's just but talk to me about the Saari. Yeah. And before we get into your personal journey with it, your business, and that's a whole other thing, let's talk about the Saari.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And can you educate us a little bit about the history, the evolution, because it feels like a very contentious issue.
No, for sure it is, for sure.
What is this issue about this one 9 yards? It's 9 yards? 6
depends.
yards?
Mostly it's 6 yards.
Okay, so this 6 yards of cloth.
Yeah.
And it feels, especially in Pakistan, especially today and for the past, I would say, 30, 40 years, it's been very there's a lot of conditions attached to wearing the Saari. And so talk to me educate us a little bit about the Saari and the history of it.
I feel honored. I don't know how to express this, but first of all, I would just like to say that everything that we talk about right now is something that I've learned over the past few years. It's not knowledge that, I come from a household where saris were worn morning, evening. Yeah. None of that. It's just that I was personally interested in this. And if you want to if you speak of the history of it, it's existed since the Indus Valley civilizations. You have figurines which you can look at and see, oh my gosh, they were wearing sari back in 5th millennium BC. So the subcontinent's history in terms of that, the sari is central to it. And for us now, in 2022, to be thinking a revival of the sari, what happened to it? Why does something that's so centric to your region, to your people, and it's not just Pakistan, but Sri Lanka, Nepal, India, the whole of South Asia per se has the sari as its traditional form of dressing.
Absolutely.
So for us to say that in Pakistan it's just been the shalwar kameez, hold up, no. There's something that's happening here. It's very politicized, and for me personally, from what I've read and understood, it can be traced to Ziaul Huq's regime of Islamization, where there was an active curtail on the sari. Newscasters were actively discouraged from wearing it. Women's bodies were policed in all kinds of ways, and the sari was just considered a form of dress that wasn't Islamic, national, and it's like the sari received a pushback, and there was a promotion of the shalwar kameez as the dress form. And even, I mean, when you look at, let's say, figures such as Fatma Jinnah, so before like the 80s, 70s, like you would see more and people wearing the sari. But after Zia's regime and during it, I mean, there was like an active curtail on it, and I think that is what has like what seeded what we till today are experiencing. But I would also say, I mean, I would also take this with caution, because while Zia did attempt to, you know, promote the shalwar kameez, and in a lot of spaces that is how it is, the sari has survived, right? Like today you and I are sitting here having this conversation. I mean, if you look at the official form of dressing of the military women, it is still, the sari is still part of the uniform, right? And I mean, look at like national icons such as Noor Jahan. She'd always be clad in one sari or another, and it's just like always been so refreshing to see that. So I would say, like, in terms of history, it's contentious for sure. The reasons for, in my understanding, are in front of you. And
And so do you think, this is just maybe a dumb question, I don't know, but all the there are also this certain, I've done a bit of research on it, and it's just kind of this, yes, Zia ul Haq, like obviously the social, हमारा social fabric तो उसने मतलब तबाह कर दिया था, right? However, I was reading this article about the sari during colonization and, you know, during the time of empire, and how the Indian woman and how the body was so sexualized at that time, and the sari became so sexualized because there was, and we were discussing this before, there were loads of forms of the sari, and the sari is a very diverse piece of clothing, and you were telling me that Hindu women wore it a different way, Muslim wore it a different way, and everyone had their own kind of adaptation of this piece of clothing. However, it's when, like, but there were also women who would wear it without a blouse. And there were people who, and it was when the British came in that there was kind of this, that the sexualization, I think, of the woman's body, especially in the subcontinent, I think it probably just started there, and then Zia ul Haq came and added the cherry on top.
I feel like you always play politics on the woman's body. And there's, well, a number of instances in our history. 71. We'll make it, that's a separate topic altogether, but that is something that is done. But I would also say that, yes, the sari is worn in a multitude of ways. So you can wear it, like, there's like hundreds of different drapes and hundreds of different ways that you can wear a blouse even. But then again, what is acceptable and what is, you know, what can your society digest? What can people around you, be it your family, friends, be it even you, what do you feel okay with? And if you, I mean, sometimes you want to challenge yourself and say, hey, I want to do this. But at the same time, I feel like you at the same time hold yourself back.
And that's what it's become, hasn't it?
It is, because for sure. I mean, you step into a place where it's like, I may be the only person in this dress, and I'll feel like all eyes are going to be on me, maybe people will pass a quick judgment. But that is something that you, I think, have to bear in mind when you do this, right?
And I think it's interesting how you talk about Noor Jahan and the army, and like there are certain people who we still see who have carried the sari forward and kind of immortalized the sari in our heads a little bit.
For sure.
However, I think that it always still just feels like there's this distance created between us and the sari. You get me? Like, even though we say, okay, Noor Jahan wore it, or okay, in the army it's worn, it's always like some kind of untouchable kind of thing, right? And for us it's become this kind of farewell pe pehni apni pehli sari yahan par shaadi ke baad pehni hai. That's what I've heard most.
That is what it is.
That's what it is.
And even for me, when I started off, I'm like, theek hai, farewell par to sari pehni hai. But Lums ka there's the DHL dinner, and I was like, okay, you know, my friends and I were thinking, oh, what do we wear? I'm like, wait, you know, farewell saris are a different vibe. I'm gonna wear like a casual sari to this dinner. Like, okay, casual sari to a dinner, but where do we find it? What do we do? And that's where it started off. And then one thing led to another, and then, well, here we are.
And so talk to me about, like, your personal kind of connection to the sari. So I know I have a very personal connection to that, and I'll like talk about that a little bit. My Nani passed along a lot of her saris from this. She passed away last year, but then she had passed along so many of her clothes, her saris, and she was a seamstress in London. So she had moved from Pakistan to the UK, and she used to sew Indian women and Pakistani women and Bangladeshi women, all that kind of the Desi community there. She would sew their clothes, and she was a hoarder. She could not let anything go. She was very sentimental, and she remembered things. So she would when she got ill, she called my mom, and she was like, come and sort out all this kapra jo maine like 50 saal se jo main jama kar rahi hu. But she remembered every story attached to it, and every acha ye iska tha, and she lived here, and her mum did this, and blah blah blah. She knew all those stories, and that for me was such a special thing, and that's what my relationship with her was based on. It was a lot of chatting and a lot of history and a lot of that. So when she gave me my first sari, wohi tha ki tum apne graduation pe pehenna. And after that, she gave me, and that was a very nice chiffon sari. It was very fancy. Yeah. And then after that, she gave me one. It was a very casual sari, and it was one of hers. And wo maine pehna, and I kind of just felt like, damn, this is me. Yeah. Like this, I felt so comfortable in it. Even though I've always had sari bahut mushkil hai pehnni. It's very, for me, it was very like, whoa, I think I found my thing. And it was also a way, after my Nani was ill and everything, it was a way to honor her. Yeah. And it was just such a personal thing to me. And then I remember going through a lot of her things, or ek aur sari milti thi ek aur, to that's how I've been able to establish one sari per episode.
That's a beautiful story. Yeah. And I mean, these saris, I mean, they're heirlooms, right? Like,
absolutely.
And there's just no price attached to them, and like just the way that you can just honor such a thing that's been received by your Nani, and no longer here, but these material objects that you hold on to as memory of
it's
her.
Also so timeless, right?
For sure. Yeah,
it's so timeless, and because it's not stitched, it's not like constricted in any way,
and you can just like wear it wherever.
Yeah,
if you think about it, like it's 6 yards of loose cloth, drape it as you want, wear it where you want. And I feel like before I go on to your question of what it is, what personally the sari is to me, I would just like to add to your point on why sari ठीक तरह नहीं पहनी जाती या जी मुश्किल होती है कैरी करना. मेरे लिए I think for me it's the case that साड़ी मुश्किल इसलिए है क्योंकि लोगों ने उसका एक तरीका बनाया हुआ है कि आपने इस तरह कैरी करनी है, ये बॉडी होगी, ये आपने इस तरह पल्लू को इस तरह रखना है, ब्लाउज को इस तरह होना चाहिए, तो फिर ही अच्छे लगेंगे साड़ी में. Oh, there's just so much pressure attached. And I remember this was O levels, and I mean we were like 15, 16, grade 11 का farewell था, and people, I mean we had been of course observing our seniors for years, and that was our time. It's the first time most of us were wearing saris. Girls in my class had gone on diets weeks prior.
At 15 or 16.
At 15 or 16, can you believe it? And I mean, कि पेट बिल्कुल इस तरह स्लिम मंदिर हो तो फिर अच्छा तो नहीं लगता ना कि वो ब्लाउज के नजर आएगा. और मुझे समझ नहीं आई थी कि ये क्या हो रहा है.
At that age, did you realize there was something wrong with that?
No. And you don't realize, because that's what you're conditioned to believing, that this is how it is supposed to be. कि अच्छा, a bulging stomach won't look good in a sari. And now, I mean, at what, 25, I sit here and think of like so many problems, and then you don't even realize them in the moment, like you said, right? But this comes from a very early age. When at 15 you can't just think of this yourself. It's something that you condition to believing. That's something that you've observed from those around you. So I mean, that's one of the things that
I think sari ko bahut uncomfortable banaya bhi gaya, it's become very like हाइट इतनी होनी चाहिए, हाइट इतनी नहीं है तो फिर चेंज हील पहनो
तो चला जा नहीं रहा.
तो when I first wore a sari, the first time was my high school graduation. तब obviously casual sari wearing का तो मैंने बहुत महंगी कहीं से ली साड़ी so difficult. That was actually really difficult to wear. And at that point, I was like, I can't. This isn't one of my nani's pieces or anything. It's actually one that I went and bought. And it was so difficult to wear. I was, again, you're like 17, 18, you're wearing itni lambi heel. I was like, I was dying in the heat. I was just like, couldn't walk.
Yeah.
It was so constricting, and the blouse was so tight. And I was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And how do people do it?
Yeah.
And now that I wear saris more regularly, I don't think I don't wear heels with saris.
No, not at all.
I chappal or like whatever.
Pant, jeans pehni ho, niche shirt pehni ho, Western attire. I pull on a sari. I'm like, okay, 1 hour I want to wear sari. The other hour I'm in my jeans and shirt, and I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with it? Come on, like it's you can do whatever with it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of a sari. I don't think you can get that from any other dress form. So yeah, my personal, I think, story with the sari, I mean, there's multiple. I wouldn't say that there's one, but one with my this O-levels situation that had happened, and then again in A-levels it happened again. And on the other hand, like my grandmothers, both of them, Dadi and Nani, both loved wearing saris. But today if I ask them, they said, "Nahi beta, ab kaun pehne, ab to nahi." Ek to theek hai, jawani mein pehni, all of that. दूसरा ये है कि that era and this era very different and
feels like a different Pakistan, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like you look at like oral history accounts, look at magazines, newspapers, you'll see just a lot of more women in saris like that you don't see. I mean, I think in the past couple of years there has been some kind of a revival, but apart from that I haven't really come across that advertisement of saris that you would see in accounts back from that time, right? So I guess they are accountable for a lot, and then of course, I mean, and I guess we are making an effort. In our, however small it may be, I think we're trying to reclaim what was ours, is ours. I mean, and as much as whatever political regime may try to wipe out something, there are places where it stays. And
so yours did start with your nani dadi as well.
Nani dadi ke saath wo to hai na, and then meri ammi, she hasn't worn a sari till now.
Really?
Like for a couple of shoots, like, "Ma, you look beautiful, come on, please do it for me." It's like, "Acha, theek hai, I'll do it for you." But uske alawa unki साड़ियाँ अभी तक शादी से अब तक पड़ी हुई हैं, and like तुम पहन लो ये वो, मैं अच्छा तुम्हारे वलीमे पे पहनूंगी. मैंने कहा, "अल्लाह अम्मा, please."
That generation really didn't experience the sari.
Out on the sari. तो फिर terms such as, "Oh, it went out of fashion." Hello, what is fashion? Who makes fashion? I feel like all of this is very politicized. So yeah, for me, like looking at my nani and my dadi, their fondness for saris, my personal issues with, like, why women are supposed to be a certain body type to wear the sari, and then lums happen, and then just the dinner, and then my friends and I just thinking together, wait, like, come on, we need casual saris. And then that just put me on this trajectory where one thing spiraled into another, and I just became so interested in understanding what had happened to it. And well, yeah,
I would say, Aiza, that you, I mean, I think this is a fact as well. I think you have the biggest hand in the revival of casual sari wearing in Pakistan. And stop smiling. I just take the compliment. It's true.
I don't know what to say.
It is true. I mean, I can look back from personal experience, and I started wearing the sari a few years ago, and just never looked back. And this is what I wear all the time. और मुझे बस यही था कि अब कहाँ से, अच्छा नानी ने तो दे दिया, लेकिन they're not gonna last like even for this shoot. Like, I'm wearing one of your pieces today. You very kindly gave me for this. But when I was actually looking for saris, casual saris, I remember this is after you graduated from LUMS and everything, and sunne mein aaya tha ki Aiza, the TA, she started some sort of sari business. And then the sari girl was very small at that point, and I remember this blouse actually is from one of the first saris I bought from you. Yeah, so I bought this from you when you just started, and that was when I was like, okay, there's a place where I can go and look at a website, 4 saris and order a casual sari that doesn't cost me my kidney, you know? And it was just like, whoa, what a concept. This is amazing. And it was after that, I'll be honest, like I always have my eye out, right? I always have my eye out for which brands are doing saris, who's doing saris now, what designers are making saris now, who are delving into like the realm of saris. And after you did it, I feel like ekdam se, there was another business, there was another, and then there was a brand that had never done saris and was all of a sudden doing 2 or 3 a season, and you're just like, okay. But I really think the credit of that does go to you and to your work and the community that you built around that, and I do want to come to that. But what I want to ask is, talk to me about the Sari girl. Talk to me about how it started. Talk to me about it's a scary thing also to do. It's such a, like we've been talking about, politicized, contentious piece of art. Koi kharidega, nahi kharidega, casual sari ka yahan pe concept hi nahi. Ab thoda sa hai lekin nahi tha. So talk to me about like the start of the Sari girl.
Okay, thank you so much. So for the Sari girl, I would say that it has been like a whole ride. Like I would not, even right now, like if people talk to me, oh, you have a fashion brand and you've been like, oh, you must have studied, I don't know, fashion marketing or something. Like, wait, no, I'm an anthropologist, and like research is what I'm interested in. And for me, it was Lums DHL ka dinner tha, and my friends and I, we wanted to wear casual saris to the dinner. So we were already doing something on our farewell because that's tradition and you know how it is.
Yeah.
But on that dinner, it wasn't really a thing कि oh साड़ी पहनेंगे. अब हमें था कि हमें उस type की साड़ी मिलेगी कहाँ से? And this actually reminds me, we then started talking to like random pages on the other side of the border and like, hey, can you ship sarees to us because we can't find them here, like casual sarees हमें इस तरह की चाहिए. But that didn't work out.
I was gonna ask actually, like how, because I'm sure that was your first point of like contact with India.
We did do that, India, and then उसके बाद भी then we were just like really struggling with this. Where do we get casual sarees from? And then I stepped out into local markets. I talked to a lot of people. One vendor led to another. So I figured out a supply chain. And then I introduced my friends to it, and I'm like, bro, give us more. And I'm like, okay. And then I posted on Facebook, and I woke up to an influx of messages. I think I posted.
This was your personal Facebook.
This was my personal Facebook. I posted on Facebook groups actually. Soul Bitches and a couple of, other groups. So about बहुत सारे messages हैं. मैंने कहा अच्छा जी अब this is, and you're speaking to somebody who is not very active on social media. The last time
Which I find so hard to believe.
The last time I updated my personal Instagram was a year and a half ago. This is the first interview, podcast, whatever you like that I'm doing. So thank you for encouraging me enough to actually do this. And I still can't believe that this is happening. So anyway, all of that. Messages I कोई 40-50 over like 12 hours, and I'm like, okay, so people really want casual sarees. I got ठीक है. Did this a couple of times, posted on Facebook groups, sold off on Facebook groups. Then it just became like a thing where my personal and this, like people just messaging me at 2 a.m. and saying, hey, is this piece available from a post that's like a month ago or something? Well, this is not okay. Like I want my personal space to be there, and this is going to be work, then maybe I should have a page for it. But then when you have a page for something, that means okay, you're now making a commitment to it, right? And then you have to manage it, you have to come up with a name, you have to come up with the whole like a brand strategy or whatever. And I think as an anthropologist, I'd enjoyed always learning from people, observing people's behavior, and just what appeals to them, what keeps them away from certain things. So like just patterns that you pick up over time. So this was all there. My friends say, guys, I want to do this. And they're like, go for it. So I think for me, like just having a very supportive group of women around me, that really helped. My family had always been encouraging. My uncle actually really pushed me for this, like, go for it. And I'm like, okay.
Amazing.
So, I was, I think, very privileged in that sense to have that push, because for a lot of women, and I've spoken to a number now, who said that we want to start something, but our families sometimes hold us back. Sometimes you were just like underconfident of yourself. So I got that push. I made the Facebook page, the Instagram page. But I think Facebook to I think 1 साल पहले बनाया. Not kidding. Like we didn't exist on Facebook because I personally didn't like use Facebook a lot anymore.
But so Instagram is the place to be.
Instagram is the place to be. Yeah. But page बना दिया when.
नाम कैसे सोचा सारी girl?
नाम भाई WhatsApp पे conversation चल रही है सब like like your best friends का एक group guys help me with the name like अच्छा ये एक ने एक आइडिया थोड़ा दूसरे आइडिया थोड़ा छोड़ा और मैंने कहा अच्छा how about this it just clicked and they're like oh my god this sounds great like there's this ring to it right oh my god should I go for it I'm like go for it I'm like okay. And then was my best friend actually just designed the logo like the next day. Didn't really put too much into it. Purple was a color that I personally really like. मैंने कहा it has to be purple. बस purple डालो और जो भी कोई सारी girl type हो उसमें कोई cute सा font हो बस बना दो यार मुझे नहीं पता. तो बस बन गया फिर पेज बन गया फिर अब मैं रिसर्च का काम कर रही हूँ तो कोविड हुआ and of course when you're doing primary field work and there's a lockdown what are you supposed to do so I had time on my hand. And I think Lums had really trained me, and me personally, like I just really enjoy working. And I don't know, like I'm, if I like something, like and like you did anthropology, right? Yes. Something you're passionate about. So when you figure out what you enjoy, it's very difficult for you to stop yourself.
I was actually, it's funny that you just said that. I was literally thinking that this morning. Like I've never termed myself like a hustler or like work or like a work addict or anything, far from it. And it's only when I started like Sarah's Zindagi and the Zindagi podcast and that I was like whoa, like when you find something you love you hustle, you have to do it because it's yours, it's like your baby and it's like you become like so addicted to that and so I get what you mean with
morning evening you're just like sari or when you start a home business there's no boundary and your family is like your sister is helping you with the photography आपके phone की gallery में आपकी तस्वीरें कम है और साड़ियों की ज़्यादा अभी तक यही मैं कहती हूँ one day I'm going to sit down I need to sort out my gallery because there's just like rows and rows and rows of just like sari pictures catalog पता नहीं 10 like don't even get me started but that's how it started off and then COVID baby it birthed before COVID but then it kind of took its steps during the pandemic and then after that like I think 2020 was that in 2021 I went away for grad school by the end of it I was done with that and
so
we are where we are
with a home business and you did start as a home business you have to begin by like handling everything on your own from the procurement to like the finances per social media per har cheez. Now you've said you're not a huge social media user and then I know like from one fellow anthropology major to another get like numbers I don't know for you but for me numbers are just not it right
no not at all.
So then how did you like now all of a sudden you're faced with this busy business and you have to like take care of all the facets of like this thing so how did you do that as like were you like a one woman show did you have help how did you
for the first few months to a year it was mostly a one woman show I had encouragement from friends and family of course but in terms of handling DMs to posts to even shooting the sarees to making sure what designs what materials all of that to ensuring deliveries I had to do all of that so I was very grateful in the sense that I had time because there was not a lot of research that was going on at that point in time so I was able to manage this but of course it came with its challenges and if you do something that you love like I'd wake up to sarees go to sleep with sarees और फिर घर में ही sarees और मैं घर का I think कोई एक कोना नहीं है जो कि shoot नहीं हुआ and for the longest time I didn't even use models like I was just like I'm not sure about
I know
who do I put out there and how do I do this responsibly because I knew that the platform was growing and I wanted to ensure that whatever I put out is that in a way that it doesn't harm anyone, it doesn't offend anyone, it brings something positive to another person's viewing.
And it looks relatable. That's the thing I love about your page, is that anyone could see themselves in it. You get me? Like, it doesn't feel like, whoa, this perfectly airbrushed model is like lying there in a sari and like flowers around her. Like, it feels so university mein ladkiyan pehen rahi hain, ye and wo. I love that.
Thank you. And that's actually, I've just tried, there's been a lot of people who said कि कि आप फलां जगह हम ऐसा shoot करते हैं, ये करते हैं, वो करते हैं. मैंने कहा कि it doesn't appeal to me. I want to keep it raw. I want to keep it something that people look at and say कि hey, if she's doing it, so can I. And personally, I'm really averse to the way that a lot operates within the fashion industry in terms of the kind of, I mean, if somebody has textured skin, you should show it as it is, right? Like, don't edit out these imperfections or whatever. I'm just saying that makes me angry, because this is human. This is how people are, and we shouldn't be portraying images that are just like unreasonable, and just, you can't get to that level. Like, come on, like, it needs to be something attainable.
Absolutely.
So then, you know, shoots bhi tab shuru kiye, so I started off ke apni nani ko kaha, maine kaha you have to wear a sari, and I'm like acha theek hai, I'll do it. And like maine kaha theek hai, aap na which color is like, I'm wearing red sari. Maine kaha go for it, we're gonna do it. So matlab nani ke saath kiya, khala ke saath kiya, even house help. So I haven't really, you know, anyone who is even moderately interested, and I can sense that this person wants to do it, but there's like a personal boundary, or there's just, you know, not enough confidence, or dil kar raha hai magar thoda sa push chahiye, so I really, you know, try to give them that push. There was even a time where this girl reached out and she said that, you know, my therapist has recommended that I speak to that I model for someone, just, you know, do a campaign to just feel more positive about my body. So
what a great therapist.
And can I do it with some brand? I read this post and I'm like, hey, let's do it. And then, but for me, it's these kind of interactions that really kept me driven. And even in my inboxes, when women would just say, oh my God, we're so grateful that you've given us a place where we can actually purchase sarees from, and they won't really cost us a leg and an arm. And I'm like, great. I'm happy to be that person for you. And I've ended up being friends with a lot of my clients. And it was like clients, we nahi pata nahi bas kya hi. It's a very personal kind of interaction. I would say before a business, it's more like a space where women connect with other women, and even like men purchasing for women. So it's been very wholesome in that sense, and that's what's kept me motivated.
So talk to me about like the struggles of starting a business like that. Like, what are some of the struggles that you faced in terms of the Saari Girl as a business model, right? Because you have like, obviously like on the face of it, it looks like, whoa, she's empowering so many women. She started a Saari business and she's brought up upon this revival. But then that also sounds like a lot of pressure for you. So what were some of the struggles that you encountered now, because you're an anthropologist, but now you're a businesswoman? So how,
I guess, I think drawing boundaries was one of the biggest struggles, because like I said, when you do something you love, and I didn't really think that I would enjoy this, but again, it's just talking to women and understanding. वही ना anthropologist ऐसे मंदिर से निकल आता है कि अच्छा आपको साड़ी चाहिए, आपकी अम्मी नहीं मान रही बट अब मान गई हैं, अच्छा ठीक है, कौन सी साड़ी में किस तरह से आपको हेल्प कर सकूं, बस वो उसके अंदर आप इतना इन्वेस्ट हो जाते हो. It's just like you know, Mariam 123 is DMing you at 2 AM and you're just like, okay, you know, hey, hi, कैसी लगी, अब मान गई हैं, अच्छा ठीक है. So these kind of conversations like really kept me going. But at the same time, then you would come across people who genuinely like be struggling, you know, I really want to get a sari and I love, you know, the designs or whatever, but my mother-in-law doesn't agree, my husband thinks I don't look good in this color, my mother says I'm too young, my, I don't know, brothers have issues, I myself think I'm too fat. It's like, okay. And for one person who connects a lot with people generally, to take in all of that, it has a toll on you. And then you're like, okay, you can't possibly fix these problems. You can perhaps talk about them, you can give them at the end of the day आप एक साड़ी पेज हो, आप अपनी कोशिश कर रहे हो, but you come across these kind of messages every day. So for me it's been like, I think, emotionally taxing in that sense, physically, because I'm doing like, I was doing academic work and then professional work, and you know, this, I don't know, professionally be professional work, you know, all of this together. So just managing all of that would get difficult, in the sense that I had to tell myself, okay, man, I need to stop. Like I need to stop. Because
how did you actually draw those boundaries then?
I would say that I'm still drawing them. I wouldn't say that, oh, I'm at a place where I've achieved. It's a constant way that you're evolving every day. But I think trying to set hours is so crucial. Like you have to tell, because social media doesn't stop, right? और मैं जो हूँ कि अगर मैं खोल लूँ तो बस फिर मैं उधर ही रहूँगी, फिर मैं कहती हूँ कि भाई नहीं खोलना, बस चलता है तो चलेगा, ठीक है चलाना. बट शुरू में तो of course the first year and a half, like I was constantly like checking out social media. मुझे business page पर जाता, because मेरे लिए वो work page था, तो personally तो मैं फिर भी social media उस तरह से use नहीं कर रही थी, but जो मेरा work page था उसको मैं फिर like as my, of course, you know, like commitment baby, like I'm the one who, अगर कोई parcel कहीं फंसा हुआ है तो मुझे ही देखना है ना उसको कि वो क्या है जी, अब बारिश हो रही है या राइडर ने क्या कह दिया, या like all of these very small issues, and it's difficult to deal with them as a woman. Like you're not taken as seriously when you talk to like courier companies and all, and like जी हम हो रहा है फलाना. So these are struggles that you come across. Like I mean, they seem to be small, but when you're one person or two people dealing with these very small kind of things, they pile up, and it does get challenging. But again, when you have just, you know, encouragement from random people in your messages, you know, we look at your page and we feel like we just put a smile on your face, and it just resonates, good energy. And I'm like, okay, I'm so happy to hear that. This is the highlight of my day. Thank you so much. So just like a few kind words would really, like, you know, keep you going on days that get difficult. But mostly it's I think I've been able to manage.
So like that's like the good side of social media and like the community of yours that supports you. But I know कि पाकिस्तान में खास तौर पे क्योंकि regulations नहीं है, there's no one who you can go and like as a small business ask for help. So it's all kind of on your own. So यहाँ पे also small businesses की वो कदर या इज्जत उस तरह से नहीं होती. So have you faced that? Because I've seen you post on social media that people have ordered things and then not received it, or like,
oh my God,
how what are some of the biggest issues you faced as a small business, and kind of have people kind of disrespecting the fact that, you know, it's a woman run small home business?
Okay, so this is going to go off on all kinds of tangents, but ek to moral policing, I feel like as a country we have a problem of just morally policing, especially men policing women and women also policing women about what's appropriate and where it's appropriate and the length of your blouse or whatever. So I've purposefully created this space that this is a safe space, no comments of like that are offensive to anyone, especially like people that we're posting on this, because like it takes a lot for you to put yourself out there, right? So if somebody has like मैंने किसी की picture post की हुई है, model है या customer है या जो भी है, if you post something that's derogatory in any way, it's going to be taken down, and there's like a no tolerance for that. There have been people who've been like, oh my God, ये तो इतनी मोटी है, astaghfirullah. Imagine, like, come on, like what, how are you astaghfirullah? फिर मुझे होता है कि अच्छा मैं ना इसको कुछ बोलने से पहले let me try to talk some sense to them. There has been time we've had debates, नहीं फलाना ये वो, मैंने कुछ जिन्होंने नहीं सुनना, फिर egos भी बीच में आ जाती है लोगों की, तो मुझे लगता है कि therapy sessions चलना शुरू हो जाते हैं in DMs, and it just takes too much from that. So इस तरह के issues हैं. दूसरे ethics, people will be like, if they'll confirm an order, they'll be super enthusiastic about it, and then the rider will go to their door, they'll be like, we're not home, come again 2 weeks later, or just ghost you. चीज़ें बीच में, मतलब I don't understand how you can do that. And there'll be people, can you keep this on hold for us till like September? अब अभी June है. and go, okay, so, and I've actually done that for people if they have given me a deposit or something. Yes,
some sort of confirmation.
Some sort of confirmation. Okay, fine, you want this. Okay, let's say it's a 6K sari. Can you deposit maybe 2K, 3K, half payment, and I can keep it for you because we do try to accommodate women as much as I can. There's been times where like, okay, it's the 25th and this is just like 2 pieces left. 25th of end of the month, मेरी salary आनी है बस 4 दिन बाद आप कर सकते हैं. मैंने कहा don't worry about it, we got you. So we do negotiate as much as we can. We do try to do that, but there's always like a nasty incident or two. But that is like, I would say the social media is the public, and of course you can't expect everybody in the public to be but I would say that we need, I don't know how, where, but we need basic schooling on etiquette.
Oh, absolutely.
Just knowing that
in real life में नहीं है तो social media पे क्या होगी,
PP question mark PP मतलब रात के 3 बजे सुबह 9 बजे तक नहीं reply किया, you guys don't reply and how dare you don't care about customers. I'm like, oh my god, please cut us some slack, we're getting back to you. I mean, we're human, and फिर we try कि आपने नहीं सलाम किया तो चलो hello, good morning, hope you're having a good day. These things make a difference. You're talking to a human. You're people before anything else, man. Like just greet the other person. But ये चीज़ें हैं, और फिर ethics तो कहीं भी नहीं होते यार. मतलब कि if somebody wants to pick up something and post it anywhere else, it's social media, hence it's public property. We can do whatever the hell we want. That's not okay. And then you know how the legal system here. You can't really, and as a woman, and वो भी ऐसे आपने online काम शुरू किया, but you can't really get into all of that. It's just daunting to even think about it. But there have been times like I remember this one instance where this woman, she sent me a fake bank transfer screenshot, and it looked authentic as hell, and we shipped it, and she was some kind of reseller, and she like said कि मेरी बहन को देना बताना मत, ये वो बहन भी नहीं थी, वो किसी और को था, उसने double price को उसको बेचा हुआ था मुझे, वो क्या था, then she disappeared, like the profile vanished, the number was of that person she sold it off to, and then you have no idea what just happened, and the amount of like planning that can go into it, we सोच भी नहीं सकते कि आप ये story भी बनाओ, इतनी ख्वारी ठीक है यार कि अब करते हैं लोग इस तरह, तो फिर क्या कर सकते हैं क्या कर सकते हैं. You can just like I tried to do something about it, but it was just like so taxing. मैंने कहा ठीक है छोड़ो बस अब हो गया तो.
But I think overall like your page has become such a hub for like body positivity, and I love that because I remember मतलब मैं काफ़ी in touch रहती हूँ with like your Q&As and little things that you guys do on the Saari Girl page. और उस दिन बस I was just on the phone and I saw that you posted कि what are some of the things that hold you back from wearing the sari. And actually हम ये पहले भी बात कर रहे थे about wearing the sari as an act of rebellion. Right? Now it has it almost feels like a rebellious act. Actually, do you want to tell that story about Iqbal Bano? Please tell that.
Yeah. So for me, when you bring up just the word rebellion in saris, it goes back to like 85, 86, and this is an instance that's quoted time and again because it's very momentous in our history, right? Like Iqbal Bano performing Faiz Ahmed Faiz's work in a time where Faiz's poetry is banned, right? And tum dekhenge, she performs at Alhambra to an audience of about 50,000 people, or tab is tarah se jo gatherings hai unke upar bhi there was like a curtail on all of this. So she does this and she's clad in a black sari, and
iconic.
I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps, and then uske baad what we read in accounts is ki acha theek hai, then there were authorities that came in later, and then they raided people's homes and tried to get footage. This should not circulate. People should not find out about this because just the amount of like power that existed within that event. And then later, Iqbal Bano, she was banned from performing publicly, so she had to face consequences for that. But for her to do that in that kind of a time, I think, and that's something that's still. When you look at Kashmiri protesters, they're still, even when you're going out on like any kind of activist kind of movements, ये एक moment होता है जो कि लोग बार बार recall करते हैं. ये poem जो है फैज़ की, this is something that is like, this marks rebellion, right? So for me, when you ask me this question, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But I would not say that rebellion is something that is just limited to that particular event. It is an act that you perform in the everyday. So when a woman decides to wear a sari in a place where she's not supposed to wear a sari, that's a form of rebellion. When you purchase a sari, there have been girls just like, please can you deliver to my friend's address? I don't want my mom to find out. And मैं आपको payment online भेज रही हूँ ये वाला address. And you're giving out like too much information. Like you can deliver to whatever address, but for women to feel safe enough to be sharing that with you, I'm like, okay girl, I got you. I hope your ma agrees eventually, but I got you. So so I mean, again, like I think I mentioned, there's been times when husbands have said, I don't like my wife in a sari, or mother-in-laws के साड़ी खरीदी है मगर
सबसे पहले तो they're waiting कि शादी के बाद अब
शादी के बाद पहने तो फिर शादी हो गई है तब 10 मसले हैं कि अच्छा अब सास को भी खुश करना है तो वो अब मैं उनको दिखा दूँ उनको है कि ये रंग तुम पर सही लगेगा या ये कपड़ा में तुम मोटी लगोगी या नहीं ठीक है like this is you would not go to a store and say कि my sass doesn't like this color on me like या मगर आप किसी भी ब्रांड को इस तरह मैसेज नहीं करके आप अपनी पर्सनल स्टोरीज नहीं शेयर करना शुरू कर देते राइट so for me to be able to I guess provide women that space I don't know how it ended up happening but if I just feel grateful that I somehow can provide a platform when women feel safe enough to talk about this and try to challenge these small things or big things actually and if it all comes from a sari then sure.
Talk to me about, before we end, but talk to me about some of the biggest misconceptions around the sari that you've come across that just like, nahi, aisi baat nahi hai. There is no height. It's a piece of cloth. Ek to humne kapde ke, I saw this thing that the clothes should fit you. You shouldn't fit the clothes, right? Yeah. So it's such a, that for me was instant like, of course. And I think that's actually a very good friend of mine, Sana Ahmed. She talks a lot about like her eating disorder, so shout out to her. But she talked about that and she was like, the clothes should like fit you. You shouldn't have to like work to fit into clothes. So we give clothes so much importance and that, we can talk about marketing and all of that. But talk to me about some of the biggest misconceptions that you have come across with regards to the sari.
I mean, the amount of things that I've heard, sari is a Hindu form of dressing. You assign religion to saris. You're too young to wear a sari. Something that's existed since the Indus Valley times. It's existed within South Asia, and you're assigning like an age category to it. You're gonna wear it. And do we do that to the shalwar kameez? We don't do that.
No.
Why have we done that to the sari? Ethnically भी हम इसको कहते हैं कि अच्छा when people ask me this so are you from India your family
I get the same
और मैं कहती हूँ कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं है I'm actually from a Punjabi background and we've worn saris yes my mom's generation skipped out on them but it's not like you have to be a particular ethnicity to wear the sari. So like age and then color also like
really
I want to wear saris but कि एक तो है कि you're supposed to carry them a certain way and then women who generally are underconfident of their skin you feel even more underconfident in a dress that's supposed to look a certain way or be carried a certain way right and then of course height weight skin textures all of that and like just like a series of things and then of course marital status even के और शादी के बाद भी depend करता है कि आपकी सास और आपके मियाँ it's not like the woman has control and I wish that were the case in our society and women are actively trying to get more space and that's really like what I want to do what really drives me in terms of my work that I want to give that to people and as much as I can like I just it's not a fashion label for me it's just a space where you promote who you are just being happy with your skin doing what you love and like if you want to wear that sari wear it wherever.
I love that. And what is your vision now for the Sari Girl?
Yeah. So I mean, it's in like for me, it's been so personal. Like all of this कि मुझे कोई क्या business है तो business भी मेरे घर पर है, वो भी मैं Insta अपने phone पे like you know all of that going on. तो and then to think about it professionally, like my friends have you know who this, you know my friend, she has a sari, she runs the sari girl, she owns a sari. मैंने कहा yeah guys hi. So I don't really you know I don't know put myself out there. You know this. So but in terms of my vision, I guess like it is what has driven me from day one to now, to having a space that is more inclusive. I mean, there's just so much on social media, and we don't realize, you know, this multitude of images that we see, 50 images in a minute or whatever, what that does to our brain, to our thinking, to our consciousness, just the way that it shapes us, and it shapes us in God knows what kind of ways. So I really, you know, I sit down with that. I'm like, okay, you know, if my audience or whatever, 85, 90K, if they are coming across these images, I want them to gain something positive out of it. And that is my vision. I want to like include as many faces, as many age groups, as many women, like create a community where I can, you know, have like women like you and, you know, talk about things that they love and just encourage one another. छोटी सी effort है, it's not कि दुनिया change हो रही है, but मेरे लिए my platform is that. Like I just want to encourage women, give them the confidence in whatever way that I can, talk about issues that are taboo, and just encourage them to be happy in their skins. So that's it.
Aiza, I love that. And I hope, and I've seen actually that you have been able to stay true to that despite like the success that you have received, mashallah. You have been able to stay true to those core values that you have for yourself and for your business. So I really appreciate that, and I'm really grateful that we were able to do this. But before we sign off, plug, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, the Saari girl on Instagram. Yeah, and the Saari, I mean, there's 10 ways that you can spell it, but the way that I've spelled it is Saari. And girl.
Yeah.
Get the spelling out.
And go to the Saari girl. Amazing saris. I mean, this is one.
Yeah, we decided to twin.
Yeah, we twinned.
I hope you noticed that.
Yeah. So it's been great talking to you.
And it's been an honor. I didn't think I'd ever do this. Didn't think we'd find each other in this capacity.
In this way,
like 2
I know.
years down the line, 2, 3, I don't know, I don't remember. 3, I think.
Yeah.
But thank you
this
so much.
This was the best way, I think, to find each other again. Thank you. And I'm looking so forward to seeing what you guys do next.
Thank you so much. Thank you.